My name is Kaylin. I am the founder of Ellie Social Media Marketing Agency. We specialize in social media management for service consultancies like health practices, legal practices, logistics, nonprofits, and we also serve a little bit of e-com as well. But today I am bringing you the webinar From Courtrooms to Clinics, Mastering Social Media for Legal and Healthcare. And I'm really excited because although I used to live stream quite regularly, almost about one or twice a week, I haven't streamed in about 3 years. So this is really exciting, and it's really exciting because now I'm doing it for my own brand, which means a lot to myself personally. Before I have been live streaming for other brands and doing some freelance work in social media management for other people and other companies. And so it brings me a lot of joy to be able to do this under my own agency. So thank you so much for joining me. The title suggests that I'm speaking directly to law firms and health clinics. However, if you are a service consultancy and you want to get a little bit more familiar with social media and how you can create a winning presence, then absolutely you're free to join. After this webinar, my goal for you is really to know which platforms and content strategies are best suited for your social media goals. Walk away with tons of content development to start implementing on your business profiles. And then thirdly, feel super confident navigating regulation on specific and rigid health parameters for your social media campaigns. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you notice that I'm looking kind of over here and then over here again, it's because I have two cameras going. If you are planning on doing a webinar for your own business, I would definitely suggest doing the same thing, having the camera here, making sure that you're recording 2 copies. I know that we can record through Zoom, but making sure that you're recording a completely separate copy of this video native to your devices is going to be really important for afterwards when you want to chop up this video, create shorter clips, and then post them on social media for Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. That's going to be really important for you to have this specific video going. So that's what I have in this webinar. It is the very first webinar that I'm running under Ellie Social Media Agency. And so because of that, I'm really focused on creating content so that I can promote the future webinars that are going to be coming up every single month for you guys. So hopefully you can see my screen right now. This is the goals that I have for you. Know which platforms, walk away with tons of ideas for content, and then feel confident navigating regulations and compliancy for those industries on social media. We have a couple resources that you can check out on our website. So if you're looking to get started immediately, we have our 20 posts to launch PDF, which is available on our website on one of the pop-ups. So you can go ahead and head on over there, download it, and get started on your first 20 posts to make sure that your Instagram profiles are going to be performing the best possible. And then we also have our free proposal offers on our website. So if you're a business looking to work with a social media manager or potentially hire an agency to take care of your social media marketing, definitely take advantage of this offer. Head on over to our website. Go to our resources tab, click on get a free proposal, fill out the questionnaire, and then we will go ahead and put together your competitor insights, an audit for your existing social media presence, as well as some content ideas and some ideas for next steps as well. So those are 2 resources right off the bat that you can go ahead and access on our website. I'm really excited to be offering those to you, and they're of very high value, so definitely take advantage while they're still available. I am going to be promoting those quite heavily when it comes to the holiday season. So that's going to be really exciting, and you're going to want to get on the list because I imagine there will be some backup in terms of turnaround because it is a free offer and it has so much high value. So that is basically the intro for this webinar. Thanks so much. We are Ellie Social, so we are a service consultancy that, like I said, services logistics, healthcare, legal industries. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing the screen because it's not really showing up on me. So here, let me see if I can reshare. I know that when we are on screen, it can become very intimidating, and if something isn't going correctly on the stream or the webinar itself, you can get flustered and it can easily turn into a disaster. So one of my advices for you is, if you want to start getting started on webinars for your business, don't feel like you're messing up. Just be patient with the process. Every video that you put up there gets better over time, and eventually you'll have much more viewers and better quality streams. So don't mind me, that's just a little bit of a side advice for you. Hopefully you could see my screen here that says who we help. So we have nonprofits, healthcare providers, service providers, and e-commerce brands. But today, I'm going to share with you a little bit of a story time about some of the experiences I've had in the legal and health industry, which is what this webinar is all about, really, and share with you some of the challenges that I overcame during those times working with those businesses, because the whole reason why I wanted to put this webinar together is to discuss compliancy and some issues in terms of ensuring that your social media is going to be complacent with branding, but also with regulation and internal documentation. So I've worked with a few different healthcare industries. So some of them have been like health SaaS apps getting started on social media. I worked with a nonprofit surrounding the topic of obesity, which was definitely something that we had to treat and care carefully, making sure that everything that we said on this website and on the social media content was going to be kosher and conducive to encouraging those who are struggling with obesity to seek help and join some of the programs. So, of course, as you can imagine, some of the language surrounding that is really important to regulate, making sure that you're not making anyone feel bad or making the nonprofit sound like we're solving problems that maybe we're not. That's really important for compliancy as well as privacy. So that was definitely some really valuable experience for me to see firsthand and not-for-profit in a sensitive industry. You know, we got collaborations going. The project there was really more so me disseminating long format webinar content into short format clips, which is perfect. But that was a healthcare nonprofit, and that was very sensitive. I've also worked with many wellness and beauty brands. So if we're thinking about kind of like electric toothbrush, electric face washers, beauty tools, those types of products. And of course, those come with their own type of compliancy and rules and regulations, making sure we're not saying, oh, this product cures all acne. We want to make sure that all of our claims are kosher and not overdone. And then lastly, one of the clinics that I've most recently worked with is a CPAP clinic, and we were really trying to push the offer of a free overnight sleep test, which was virtual from the homes of the potential patients. And it was really starting from zero on that project. They didn't have any social media content, and we really wanted to ensure that the offer was really clear and that we were creating a space for their prospective clients to come in and interact with the business. And so in order to do that, because it was a physical location, I really wanted to take some photos and videos on site. And so we did some videography of the clinic itself, from the outside of the building to the inside of the clinic, having some consultations, creating some content, and disseminating that across their social media platforms, which we had very much success with, and which I'll be showing you later on in the webinar. One thing that I wanted to go over is kind of like the importance of compliancy, and it's a story of how I worked with a business. It was right at 2020, actually, the year 2020, when the pandemic was really, really at its strongest and people were at home. We had lockdowns going on. And I was actually working with an over-the-counter pharmaceutical company, and they were cough drops. Now, in COVID society, if you're caught coughing in public, people don't want to be around you. People were scared of being around you. And here I am trying to sell a cough drop. And now, although that sounds easy, sometimes when you're working with health and regulation industries, you have to be very careful with the words that you're choosing to promote your product. And during a time as sensitive as COVID, this was a huge challenge for us. They had actually decided to do a comeback campaign. So they had been on the market in like 2013, and then they decided to do a revamp and relaunch the product again in 2020. And they thought that the previous people who were purchasing that product would remember them. And so they really wanted to get back to a Canadian winter type theme campaign. And I really wanted to push something funny, a little controversial, something about coughing during COVID, and it was just completely off bounds. So here we can see the distance and the distinguishing between white and black here. We want what I knew was going to work wasn't really necessarily okay with them in terms of regulation and health, and they were just really scared. They didn't want to mess up the campaign. They didn't want to offend anyone. They didn't want to break any rules. They wanted to stay compliant. And although all of that is so important, the reality is that we have to integrate some controversial campaigns into our social media, and that's just how you get virality. That's how you get the most engagement. And the important thing is to work with somebody like us who understands regulation and understands what you can and can't do with the brand in that regard. So I do have quite a bit of experience in these sectors. I've spoken with a private practice legal firm owner about some of this stuff regarding social media and compliancy, and it's just a big bag. So the important thing to note for that is that in order for a lot of people to feel successful online, they turn to focus groups like this. So if you can see my screen, I'm sharing a photo of Mad Men focus groups. And this is really expensive, first of all. And this is a way for you to understand how your audience is going to react to your next campaign or how they feel about a product. And this can be very pricey, so it's important to work with people who actually know what's going to resonate with your audience. When we come to actually making progress with social media for these sectors, we have a small checklist here that I want to show you. The first thing that you want to do when you get started on social media for health and legal industries is to optimize your profile. Your profile is like SEO. It enables your customers to find your clinic or your legal practice and then engage with it, send you a message, like your content, maybe potentially book an appointment and come visit your physical location. These are very important as their first impression. Optimize your profile. That's all I'm going to say. You really need to. There's a slide coming up after this, that I will get into the nitty gritty of how you can optimize your profile, but that is your number one. Now, on Instagram, it's relatively easy. You just fill out each of the things. On LinkedIn, it's a little bit more of a process. You have to have all your descriptions, all of your information about your business, and even going beyond some of the basics and using some of the optimization tools that the platforms have specifically. So if you think about on Instagram, you're able to select what kind of business you are, what industry. You're able to use your stories and your link right underneath, so you can comment about that and get people to click on it using CTAs. There's on LinkedIn, you want to make sure that your profile, your personal profile, is also optimized just as much as your company page, because people can go back and forth and toggle between the two really easily. So that's going to be really important. So not only is it important for your prospects to be able to find you on social media, but it's also important for your search ranking. So if somebody is typing you in, but also because if your profiles are optimized on the platform specifically, those platforms can then prioritize your content over somebody else's profile that's a lot less filled out, because you have all of the additional information that will guide your client and guide your prospect towards your business. And on social media, that's what they want to do. Social media platforms, they want to keep you on that platform, and they want to be able to recommend resources that are actually relevant to what you're searching for. So know thy brand. Make sure you know your brand before you even start posting. That's going to be number one. So know your brand. Make sure you have all your fonts, your logos, your colors, everything very specific. Then you want to go ahead on over to my website, download the 20 posts to launch, get started doing that. And a lot of the companies that I work with actually don't have a lot of native content for their own brand. So what that means is videography or photos of a product. That's easy to take. If you have an e-com product, you can get a white box off Amazon and you can take photos and videos relatively easy. If you're a service consultancy, it can be very difficult to find creative ideas for you to capture content on site and make sure that it's relevant to the brand. A lot of law firms can use stock photos, and that can turn out really well, but if it's not authentic to your company, featuring your employees and your lawyers, then you're not really going to have that attachment to that audience and the prospect who's looking at your profile. They're not going to feel very attached or like they know your business very well if it's all stock photos. So the third actionable insight for me to tell you what to do is to go ahead and get some creative assets developed. Now, if you're work from home, work remote, when you can do that is during holiday parties, happy hours with the employees when you get them together outside of the office, or when you're trying to get them together if you're a work from home. You can get maybe your receptionist or even hire someone, which would be even better, to go into your clinic or your law firm and take photos and videos on site of your people, of your business, of your desktop, everything to do with what your business looks like when I step in the door. Then you can go ahead and request a free social media proposal from us at LA Social, which will give you insights into your competitors. It will give you an audit on your profile of how you can improve, and it'll also give you content ideas and next steps. So that's a really important resource for you to take advantage of when you're getting started on social media and promoting your business. So that is going to be the main thing. We're going to go over a little bit of an exercise to discuss first steps for you specifically, because I know obviously you can find a lot of this information online. However, I want to break it down even more so that you feel comfortable actually executing the first step instead of hearing about it and being like, oh, that sounds a little bit tough, I don't really know where to start, and not doing it. Which leads me to my next segment here, which is all about understanding what your hurdles are going to be within your business. Maybe it's that you don't have the expertise to develop strategy. Maybe you are lacking a leader on the project and you need a project manager. Maybe you are lacking resources. You don't have any money to hire anybody. You don't have any money to get subscriptions to creative editing platforms, anything like that. So maybe that could be your problem. Maybe your problem is time. You want to get all of these things started, but you just don't have the time to delegate a project manager or do the research or revamp your budget. Maybe you just don't have any time. Maybe social media to you is a very low priority. Maybe you believe that because of your specific industry, people aren't going to be finding you on social media, so there's no point. Now, what I can tell you is that is absolutely not true. I even worked with a logistics company, and we were able to get them discovered and acquired through social media. So it's not always that we're looking for customers through our profiles. Sometimes we can have larger overarching goals, such as being acquired, or maybe even having collaborations within your industry, or maybe just to have a visual business card for anybody who might be interested in doing some B2B collaboration or work within your internal business operations. But social media definitely has its value, and a lot of people don't necessarily understand where that lies for their specific industry. And so you can speak with somebody like me on a discovery call, and we can discuss how we can leverage social media for your business specifically. So if you really truly believe that social media isn't going to make an impact, I think I can change your mind, but it's totally up to you at the end of the day. Now, the last thing that I think could be a hurdle to getting started on social media would be fear of compliance and regulation. So maybe you're just so worried about messing up online or saying the wrong thing that you just don't put anything out at all. And that's a problem in itself, because we want to make sure that we're feeling confident in our brand, confident in our business, in order to speak and engage with our prospects online. So regardless of what your compliance and regulations are, how strict they are, you're going to need to put together an action plan so that you can overcome that hurdle and get started on social media as soon as possible. So back to how we can optimize our profile. We need a strong SEO name. We need a clear bio with a call to action. We need story highlights, and we need some pinned posts on the top. So that's specifically for Instagram. If you want to go over to LinkedIn, they'll even offer you a kind of checklist or recommendations on a daily basis on how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile. So those are going to be great resources for you. I want to go ahead and get started with a quiz. So the first question that I want to ask you is, who are your customers and where do they likely find your industry? And where do they like to find your industry? Those are two different questions. So if you are a law firm who mostly works with millennials, then you may want to be on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. If you are a health clinic, like a Botox clinic who does special Botox injections, and it makes you look like you have cat eyes, which is really attractive for Gen Zers, and maybe a TikTok trend. So maybe you want to be on TikTok for that. But what I realized when I was doing my research on demographics per platform, it was that yes, there are some populations in a certain age range that are more likely to be on Facebook, or more likely to be on LinkedIn, or more likely to be on TikTok. But the truth is you're never really going to know where they are until you have had at least 1 to 3 months of content to see what the community is like and if they're going to engage with you. Social media can be unpredictable. You never really know if what you're going to do is going to resonate with your audience. And that's what testing and using the data and analytics requires you to do. You want to make sure that you're looking to see, where are my customers, where are they likely to be, and where do they like finding your business. So again, with that second question, your customers may be on Facebook and they may be happy to be engaging with their family and friends on Facebook, but maybe they hate promotional offers on Facebook. So maybe your offer won't resonate there. But maybe they're on Instagram stories the next day and they're scrolling and they're bored and they're unexpecting of promotion, and you get them on Instagram on stories. That could be a very important piece of data for you to look at, because it's one thing to have your demographics on the platform as a stat. It's another thing to actually get that person to engage with your business and to follow you and to continue to view your material. Now, if, for instance, another kind of example of this is like my age group, we don't really use Facebook that much anymore. But if I'm using Facebook, I'm going to want it for a few different reasons. I'm going to want it to connect with my family, maybe send pictures of my son over to my granny or my mother-in-law. And maybe that's all I use it for. Maybe I'm not a scroller on that platform. And so promotions for me on there aren't going to be that much of a hindrance, because I'm just there quickly to go see something. And if something catches my eye, I'm okay to actually look into it and see. So I don't mind promotions on Facebook, but promotions on LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok, I'm not sure. You really have to work with whatever your demographic is at the time and see. So here we have all 4 of the main platforms. LinkedIn is mainly for webinars, masterminds, professional networks, engaging with vendors, partners, industry leaders, and in general, it's controversial adverse in terms of, like, I definitely wouldn't recommend posting your political beliefs on LinkedIn. That's for sure. Instagram and TikTok, they're definitely more casual platforms. That's definitely where you can have a lot more fun. Instagram and TikTok are really video-based platforms. So if you think back to like 2013 when Vine came out and how engaging those videos were, this is like that, except for a million times better. So Instagram and TikTok have very unique niche audiences on there. You're allowed to have a lot more fun. The varied content types can help you establish connections with various different audiences depending on how people like to access content. And then obviously we have Facebook, which is more your 30 to 80 year range. Definitely great for advertising, for hosting events in the community, having forums or Facebook groups to connect with your niche audiences, and then also doing news updates, personal family updates. Those kinds of things are going to be great on Facebook. So now that we know what kind of platforms we are going to be posting on, we need to know what kind of profile we want to actually achieve. So you can start posting, and that's your standard industry average post profile. So like, you just want to get in the game. You just want to have a few posts up here and there. You're not looking to become like the next big thing on social media, but you definitely want a presence on there. So that's going to be your A. That's your industry standard foundational content. It answers common questions. It allows a space for landing for your prospects, and it allows for customers to engage with you after their appointments as well. Now, a second kind of profile that you might be interested in is more so a brand spotlight. So not necessarily for your customers, but for your employees, for your team culture, for your website. And that's going to be more so internally focused. So whereas the industry standard is more so focused on prospects and leads, the corporate culture B is going to be more so focused on developing internal retention, like employee rates. Like, do your employees feel proud to work for your business? Does that show on social media? Those are going to be important things to consider. And you're also going to be able to take content at events and push that out on your social media. But it's more so a resource for internal employees and for brand culture. Now, the next two are going to be out of your typical amount of energy spent. So for C and D here, guest collaborations, long format videos, special campaigns, if that's the kind of stuff you're interested in, you're going to want to be in a B2B space. So Instagram or LinkedIn, that are the most popular for collaborations and that have the best opportunity for video marketing. LinkedIn is definitely a platform that's underutilized for video, and Instagram is going to be the best platform for you to use for video because it is so optimized to attract clients on video. Now, if you're looking to do kind of like blogs, digital course content, e-products, resources, this is like major value. You may want to start somewhere like Facebook where you can have multiple streams. You have your channel, but you can also have like a Facebook group of your small community and start giving them value through that small group as well. So these are all things to consider. You don't want to just go into social media and start posting randomly. You want to understand, what does your business what do you want your business to look like at the end, and what is it going to be? Why is it going to be so much value for your prospects or for your business? That's really important here. So if you look at like industry standard, this is a law firm. This is not one of my clients, so I'm not claiming that this is my work. But this is a really good example of an optimized profile that shows industry standard content. So we think about an attractive, clear, contrasting logo. So very clear logo. You want optimized profile name, description, and links. You want optimized call to action buttons. You want story highlights that are related to your business. You want educational graphics. You want community events and community engagement content. You want video reels of introducing lawyers, for instance. You definitely want to integrate testimonials and quotes. And also you can balance all of that content out with stock video and imagery, just based on different subject matter regarding legal practice or your health clinic. So the third question that you want to kind of understand before you get started on social media is, what creative assets do you actually have to work with? So sometimes when I'm working With some clinics, they may not have any content at all, but they may be willing for me to come visit and capture some content, or at least in the meantime use stock image. So you are going to have to be okay with making use of what you have. That's really important here. Is that a lot of the time I find that when I'm working with people, the reason why they have not established a stronger social media presence and profile is because they're lacking the assets to actually create authentic and engaging content. So whether or not you're willing to do so or not is going to be important in understanding how you're going to establish your social media profile. So if you want to rely on stock, that's totally okay, but you want to have a plan of action for how you can develop more assets in the future and improve and consistently improve your social media profiles. If you have a pre-existing library of content, that's great. You can even hire somebody to reformat some of the content and create new videos with some of the old videos and see how you can rehash and take advantage of what content you actually have. Now, you can also get a videographer or a photographer or a designated employee during an event like a luncheon or a Christmas party. Holiday parties are coming up, so that's going to be a really important opportunity for you to get some content. All of this kind of content requires planning in advance. You can't just all of a sudden decide, oh, okay, I'm going to do social media now, and you have nothing to actually post. That's going to be really frustrating and discouraging. So definitely talk about what kind of videos you can capture in your clinic and in your law firm. This is another example from Douglas Law Firm of a reel that a lawyer can basically film within 5 minutes, introducing themselves, their position, who they help, how, and a CTA at the end. That's going to be really important as well. Okay. So now I also want to take a little time to show you a bit about some personalization and storytelling within your content. So here is a video of a founder that I worked with on a kind of supplement brand, and they told the story of how their business was started. So here I'm going to share it with you.
It was 2000 and a long time ago, and it was Thanksgiving, and I was with a group of other expats. We all worked for non-government organizations, NGOs, and so here we were having Peking duck at a restaurant in Tibet, and wouldn't you know it, like all good overseas experiences, I got sick, and I got real sick. There I was, as a younger guy, sick in a hotel room, and a colleague of mine, a local that was Tibetan, recommended that I try a combination of herbs that had been given to him by somebody else and whatnot, and at that juncture I was willing to try anything, and it worked, and it was profound, and it definitely cured the digestive illness.
So if you want your social media to be an industry educational resource or a lead generator, that's going to be important to note. If you want to use your social media profiles to promote webinars or get people to a professional event, that's going to be another strategy. If you want to use social media to ensure client retention and nurture clients, get them to book appointments, get them to stay updated on your business and get reminded of your business, then that's going to be important for you to note. If you want to fill up your books, get appointments, nurture clients, and get new patients, that's also its own objective. So definitely take a minute to consider what exactly you're trying to achieve on social media, and then put together a strategy that actually moves you towards those goals. So some of those goals could be to diversify your service range, expand your client base, attract a new demographic, increase appointment bookings, advertise and promote your services, elevate your brand and online presence, generate consistent leads, that's a big one, keep conversions and ROIs priority, grow your following across YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, share proof and big wins, and develop engaging and entertaining campaigns, as well as getting your employees incentivized and involved in the business. So those are just some ideas of goals that you may have for your social media campaigns, but you're definitely gonna wanna pick one, or at least 2 to 4 maybe, and focus on those for your content pillars. So now that we are into our content portion of the webinar, we can discuss and watch some more content that I've created for other brands. This brand is the CPAP business that I mentioned earlier. We did some graphics using stock footage, as well as after I had run out of stock footage content or ideas, I was then able to go to the clinic and catch on-site photos and videographies. But as you can see, the profile using stock photos doesn't look bad at all. I'm pretty proud of this work, and it's definitely possible for you to achieve a social media presence using stock photos and videos to amplify your brand. And it really just comes down to who you're working with and their talents in order to do so authentically. Here were some of the videos that I took on site. So starting with this.
If you are looking for diagnostic or treatment help for sleep apnea or require assistance with your CPAP machine, visit us at CPAP Pros at the New Westminster Professional Building on 5th Avenue. Simply ring our doorbell. We accept walk-ins from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. See you soon.
So that is a great idea for you to start creating content showing how exactly to even find your clinic. A lot of the health clinics that are kind of community clinics are in larger buildings that have multiple levels and a lot of different rooms. So it's important for you to show your customer how to find your business and how to actually gain access to it. Another important thing for you to show your customers is the experience of a consultation.
So when comparing a nasal mask to a full face, the main differences are this one allows you to breathe through your mouth instead of just through your nose. This one you have to have your mouth closed for the majority of the night for it to be effective, the therapy, and this one you can breathe through your nose or your mouth.
So that shows you a little bit of specialized information regarding the specialized service that you're offering. You want to be able to give a virtual experience of a consultation so that when your prospect actually books their appointment, they know exactly what to expect. Another important aspect of video marketing within a clinic is going to be sharing things that are important to your prospects, such as cleanliness practices. So basically this one is showing him, there is a voiceover and some audio that's meant to go with this video, but this is basically showing the process of cleaning an at-home kit. As you can see, the practitioner is wearing a mask and gloves and going about their meticulous cleaning process on video, and that helps the customers to understand, okay, they clean their stuff properly. I feel confident going in there that it's going to be hygienic. And yeah, okay, I'll be more interested in this clinic knowing that it's clean and safe versus if I had never seen this video at all, I might wonder what their practices are behind closed doors. This is another brand that I haven't worked with specifically on my own, but it is something that I saw within the dental industry, which was really kind of enlightening in terms of my social media research. This company is called Restoration Dentistry, and they do holistic dentistry, where they encourage you to do natural holistic remedies for cavities and use more modern practices in the dental industry. Now, you should definitely check them out on Instagram if you want some ideas for content. But this is just an overview to show you they've really blown up. But the key here is understanding that the reason why they've blown up is because the main guy is the movie star of his profile, right? That's going to take a ton of commitment, a ton of time in your office filming videos. Excuse me. And it's not always practical for people, right? They don't always have as big of a support staff. They may not have somebody on hand to edit this content and push it out. But here we have somebody who's very, very committed to their social media practice, and they've blown up. Most recently, I saw that they were offering cavity-free teeth cleaning kits where you sign up for them and then you get additional education surrounding kind of holistic health and natural teeth remedies, basically, and they sold out almost instantly. So if you're wanting to do this type of business, it's definitely possible. You are capable of doing this, but the time commitment is going to be so huge. So you really want to take that into consideration long term. Now I have another example. This isn't a law firm or a health clinic, but it is a logistics company. And we were able to use a lot of stock photo, but also what ended up happening is this business owner was able to just take a lot of photos of all of their logistic brokers in the office. They had a physical location, so this was easier for them to do and achieve. And the important thing here is to just understand the balance between stock and in-person content. So there's 3 different kinds of strategies. One of them is an authority first framework, which is basically like 70% of your content is educational, 20% is based on your personality and your brand, and then 10% is offers and sales. So you can use this framework for your company, or you could use kind of like a pillar system and have an equal distribution of 4 common goals. So you could do it based on the goal that you want to reach. So maybe the content pillars are reach, grow, nurture, sell. Or maybe if it's based on content and you want the content pillars to be based around what exactly you have and what you're trying to push out, which is offer 1, maybe there's influencer content, maybe there's education, and maybe there's proof, like testimonials. But it's going to be on you to kind of understand how you want to balance your content. Before, I was talking about other businesses who may be pushing out educational resources, webinars, long format video. Those kinds of people are going to benefit from micro and macro content strategy, similar to Gary Vee, where he's constantly going around shooting long format content, and then he has a team that disseminates it across different platforms. So those are kind of the ideas for your strategy and your content. You want to be realistic when you're kind of taking audit of all of this information. And in terms of longevity, being honest with yourself about where you're at right now and where you want to go, that's going to be really important for consistency online. So if you have stayed until this moment, thank you so much. Now we're going to get into a little bit of compliance, like I talked about at the beginning. A really good practice for you to ensure that your social media is compliant is to create your own internal documentation. Now, I've worked a lot with white labeling for other agencies and also worked a lot with this kind of industry. And it's always gone so much better when I have all of the assets for their brand guidelines already. So if not, I always end up doing a do's and don'ts list. That's like your minimum capability for what you need if you're planning on outsourcing your social media, or if you're planning on doing it internally and you need a guide. Definitely put together a do's and don'ts list for compliancy so that you don't break any regulations for these sensitive industries. Some other kind of assets that you might find helpful are going to be kind of like your brand aesthetics, your brand book, your customer journey, your website design, your social media templates. You might want to get those together or have somebody design them for you. But all of that to say is that these are additional documentation to help guide yourself or your social media manager towards a compliant and consistent, cohesive social media platform. A lot of the time when you hire and outsource social media managers, they may not have the same expertise that you do, meaning they may not understand what it is to work with HIPAA guidelines, or for Canadian healthcare organizations, they might not understand what it is to work with the Canadian Medical Association Code of Ethics. So that's going to be really important. And I'm kind of running out of time here. So if you want to gain access to some of our compliancy documentation, you can definitely send me an email at Kaylin@LE and I actually have been putting together a easy to fill out resource for you so that you can have all of your content that's listed here, such as your content and resources, your key messaging, your copy requirements, your general guidance, what to avoid, and creative considerations. I'm putting together a little easy printout that you can fill out and send that over to your social media manager so that you can ensure that any future content is going to be legit, kosher, and not breaking any rules within your industry. Here's a list of some following guidelines for Canadian law firms and US law firms. You can feel free to read through those or pause the screen if you're watching this as a playback and go through them. Or simply, like I said, send me an email and I'll be able to send out this worksheet for you. Again, if you're interested, definitely download our free social media guide for the first 20 posts that will take your business from invisible to flourishing. And as a next step after that, definitely request a free proposal. So this is where you can find trending content inspiration, you can get an account audit, competitors' insights, and our recommendations for next steps. So that's really important. Definitely reach out to us if you want to take advantage of this offer. And yeah, so that basically is the end of the stream today. I can definitely answer any Q&As that might come up in the comment section. But if you are looking for additional resources in terms of tools to get started, you're definitely going to want to have a social media scheduler, so using Later or Hootsuite or Planoly. And then you're also going to want kind of a creative editor that allows you to do video editing and graphic editing. We love Canva here at LE Social. And then thirdly, you're going to need an outline for your strategy. So you can definitely get that through us by seeking a free proposal and sending us an email. So that is basically the resources for getting started on social media and mastering social media for these industries. If you want to check out more, we have our blog on our website as well as our case studies. You're welcome to check us out, book a discovery call, talk to us about what your goals may be for your upcoming campaigns. I just did a post the other day about how holidays are super fast approaching. If you're thinking about it, we only have about 6 days until Halloween, and then we have American Thanksgiving and Remembrance Day about a week and a half after that, or 2 weeks after that, and then it's November 12th and Christmas is coming. So you want to get started on all of your holiday campaigns, get started pushing out what's important to your business during this time, and seek ways to connect with your community and your customers. So that is basically all for today. If you enjoyed this stream, please definitely get in touch with me, send me a message. Thank you so much, Mary. She says, thank you so much for all these resources. I'm so glad to hear that it was helpful for you. This is the first webinar of many coming, so I'm glad that it went off without a hitch. We have another webinar coming up in November and then another one in January after the holidays. So really looking forward to those. Definitely check out those events on our LinkedIn page and get in contact and book that appointment and the discovery call if you're interested in working with us at LE Social Media. Thanks again. Wishing you a fantastic rest of your week and can't wait to connect on the next stream. Bye.